Hello, everyone. My name is Moonshine, and I am the AMA host of today. We have Block Air here with us, which is an innovative blockchain-based game centered around the purchase and ownership of flight ticket NFTs. This would be a very interesting one as we dive into each of their utility and what they have to offer. So, to start with, could you kindly introduce yourself and give us a background about Block Air?
Yeah, sure. Hi, thanks for having me. This is Frank. I've been in the crypto space since 2016. I've been doing all kinds of things in the crypto space, starting from investing over trading to mining. I've been running a few startups, and the latest startup I'm working on is BlockAir. So I've been in the space for quite some time, and I've had a few own projects. And as I said, started out with Bitcoin, got into the altcoins as well, and yeah, almost 10 years of experience in the crypto market.
Interesting. So now talking about BlockAir, why did you guys have to push your focus towards NFT? Because I can see that is one of the main focus of what you guys are trying to build, rather than the usual trying to build maybe any other ecosystem. Or why was it NFT you guys chose to build on?
Well, the NFTs are an essential part of the game, but it's not the core game mechanics. The NFTs are basically to identify, on one hand, the players, on the other hand, the airport owners and the airline owners, and also the flight tickets, since they have multiple purposes in the game. So NFTs, since they're unique, they have a great purpose in the game for identifying the different parts that take part in the game, but it's not connected to the core game mechanics.
Okay, nice. Thank you for going through that. So now, what is BlockAir basically all about?
BlockAir is what we call a flight to earn game. It's a mixture of DeFi, GameFi, something around that. It's strategy. It's community driven. So basically, to walk you through, if you're a new player, it's pretty easy. You have to get your passport NFT, just like in any regular airline. If you want to fly, you need a passport. But at BlockAir, it's a passport NFT, which comes in 9 different rarities. And once you get one, then you're a tourist. As a tourist, you can check out different airports with different flight offers. And if you want to catch a plane, you buy a flight ticket. In return, you get a boarding pass NFT, and then your status changes from tourist to passenger. And then this flight ticket or boarding pass is valid for 4 flights. And the idea of the game is to fill those flights. So you strategically have to choose flights that might be already almost full, or where there's lots of players stuck at an airport and are looking for flights. And then when the flight is full, it takes off, it flies a certain time period, it lands, and you get promoted. And once you finalize each step, the steps are, well, as I said, from the tourist to passenger, and then once you're on the plane, you're a passenger, you change to flight attendant, then to co-pilot and pilot. And at each step of the crew members would be the flight attendant, you make 40% ROI, co-pilot you make 120% ROI, and pilot you make 280% ROI. So once you finalize a round of BlockAir, which is those 4 stages, you make 440% ROI on the flight ticket which you purchased initially.
Nice. Now, talking about the ROI, we see that the progress through the 4 flight levels can end up to 440% on a ticket. So how was that maximum return calculated, and what real-time control exists to prevent systematic payout drift if participation spikes?
There will always be participation spikes and downtimes. That's the nature of gaming, and you have a hype, then it goes down, and you have another hype. So the wave will go up and down. This is something you just have to be aware of. But we have included a few security measurements for people to be protected against that. So first of all, it's all on the blockchain. It's transparent. At any time of the game, you can see how many players are active, how many flights there's available, what's the ratio available flights to active players. So this is one hand. You can always decide which is a plane that suits you to jump on, which is maybe a plane that gets canceled and you don't want to jump on. So this is like a strategical decision. But then again, it's for sure that you will need to have lots of game activity with players. There will be a moment where there's maybe not so much game activity, where in this case, we also offer a flight insurance, just like in real life. So people, when they buy a flight ticket, they can purchase a flight insurance. And so when they're in the passenger stage and the flight gets canceled because of inactivity, they get their money back. So this is the security measurements which we implemented, knowing that all games have their hype and then their cool down, and then there comes another hype and another cool down. This is just normal.
Nice. Thank you for giving us, an explanation to that. And just because we are still on, rewards that users or players would get, I see that you guys are rewarding in USDT, and we may see projects out there who would want to, reward in their token so that players can benefit from token price appreciation. So was there a reason for choosing Mao's native token was there a reason for choosing USDT as the reward for these players?
Well, if you look a little bit at the history of all those play to earn games which are rewarding in their own token, hardly any token on the long run has been able to maintain value. All of them are going south, some of them faster, some of them not as fast. You have to find an exchange where you can exchange them. It's all very complicated. Stable coins are the crypto movement 2025. If people want to get paid, in USDT. You won't have a stable value. If you put the work in and you get paid in a just token, somebody makes it up, it's not going to have value for you. You're going to have a hassle exchanging it. From a player perspective, I would want to earn in USDT. I want to make sure that that the winnings I get, I can exchange and won't fluctuate throughout the game. So this is why we choose USDT. It's purely thought for the player's advantage there.
Nice. I think it really does make sense, because players are usually more excited when it's in USDT, because whatever merit or demerit the token has nothing to do with them. So now let's walk through like the gameplay. Flights can be cancelled or delayed. So how do these events affect the gameplay and player earnings, and what strategy have you guys implemented to make those moments exciting rather than frustrating for the players?
Exactly. As I mentioned, of course, there's going to be always spikes where everything goes super fast. Everybody's going to earn lots of money and everything's going to go super quick. And then there's going to be these moments where the game activity slows down. And this is foreseen by us. Planes, in order to take off, need to have 8 passengers. Okay, so that's not a whole lot. It's actually a few players if you consider how big the play to earn and crypto market is. 8 players to make a plane take off is nothing. So we open a booking period of 4 days for a plane to fill. If a plane doesn't fill, for whatever reason, because people choose a different kind of flight, they prefer domestic over international or long haul over domestic, whatever. So we mentioned that a flight gets canceled. As I mentioned before, if in the process of buying the flight ticket, players choose to buy it with insurance, that's just 10% of the flight ticket, then as a passenger, they'll get a 100% refund of their flight ticket in case the flight gets canceled. Another measurement we have implemented is that once you play Block Air, when you play successfully and you finish the four levels and you retire as a pilot, your account will be reset to tourist. So the game starts for you all over again. So this way people are going to be always returning players. It's not an ongoing game which is long and it will still take forever. No. Ideally speaking, on a domestic flight in 1 to 2 days, you walk through or fly through the 4 levels, and then you'll be reset to tourist and it starts all over again. So it will be a constant purchasing power coming in.
Nice, thank you True, for that answer. So now, let's talk about the miles token distribution. Could you break down exactly how miles are minted, distributed per flight, and probably explain, the mechanism surrounding the burning vesting to manage inflation on long term?
Okay, the miles token, you have to imagine like a regular frequent flyer program. Yeah, like miles at regular airlines. So those miles are minted in the process of when people actually fly. Okay, so when you're eligible to have miles, they'll be minted. There will be no pre-minted tokens with a token supply of some billion, which are locked or which are for the team. No, the team will have no tokens at all. It's all going to be minted in the process of the game. Yeah. So on one hand, they will be minted for flying. They will reward you for flying, and on the other hand, airplane crews, which is flight attendants, co-pilots, and pilots, will receive miles in compensation for canceled flights. There's also going to be a usage within the game for the miles. For example, you can change on a private flight to a different airport if you feel like the airport you're at does not have the activity you're looking for. So you can choose to change the airport using the miles token, for example. And in the future, this is not going to be at the launch, but in the future there will also be airport shops where you can buy collectible NFTs, and they will be also handled in miles. But that's a little bit more down the road.
Yeah, definitely. So, are there factors that determine each passport's rarity, miles, multipliers, and supply? And how will you guys handle future rarity releases to avoid devaluing early holders?
Yeah, the passports, when you mint the passports, it's totally random. They have a percentage of supply and will be assigned to the players randomly. And then the different passports, the different rarities have a different miles multiplier. So if you fly with a ×1 multiplier, you get ×1 for your flight. And if you have the most, the highest rarity, then you get a 30, it's ×30. Yeah. But the rarity of those is just 1%. So this is how we calculated it.
Okay. So, moving next, I think let's talk about the insurance and cancellation aspect of it. So, how is the flight insurance pool funded? Are there precise payouts that could trigger conditions for cancellations? And what kind of risk modeling has been done to ensure the insurance pool remains solvent under stress?
Exactly. So So the price structure is pretty simple. It's a 10% of the flight ticket for insurance, and that goes into a pool. And that's if the flight is canceled, then the passenger gets back 100% of the flight ticket. So if you purchased a $10 domestic flight, your flight gets canceled, you get back the $10. Then again, if you're a pilot and your flight gets canceled, then you get a refund in miles token, not in USDT.
Okay, so looking also, I see you guys have like a jackpot mechanics rather. So how does this work?
Yeah, exactly. So as I mentioned before, when you buy a flight ticket, you receive in return a boarding pass NFT. The boarding pass NFT does not only give you the 4 flights, but it also works as an entry into the jackpot. So for each flight ticket you buy, you get an entry into that jackpot you were mentioning. This will be a progressive jackpot. It will be building up until the 1 millionth player takes off. And then it's automatically triggered. And then in between all the boarding passes, there will be a raffle. And one lucky player will receive 1 million USDT.
Okay. So the where does the liquidity for miles and also the USDT come from? Do you guys have like percent for burning or buybacks so that you prevent the crash of the token value?
No, there's no token. Would be the crash of the USDT, and I don't think we're going to be able to influence that. Liquidity comes purely through game activity.
Okay. So let's move over to the referral aspect of it. Now, I see that the referral program grants about 200 miles for successful referrals. So are there any measures or systems in place to stop, referral farming or multi-account abuse?
Okay, on one hand, you can always only hold one passport NFT in your account. You cannot hold multiple passports in one account. And the 200 miles welcome bonus is one thing. This is exactly the price a private flight from the airport to airport is being charged at. But I want to get to the most important part of the referral program. It's not the 200 miles. The most important part of the referral program, that if I send you a referral and you accept my referral and join the game, you will be directly led to the flight I'm on, because it's always interesting for a player to have people come to their airplane, not to anybody else's airplane. If people go to your airplane, you will progress much faster through the 4 levels. So the beauty of the referral system is that through the smart contracts, we will know on what plane I am at and and when you join the game, you will be directed to that plane. So this is the actual beauty of the referral system. We want those people that refer to new players have the advantage to just process quicker through the game.
Nice. That was well thought out. That's an interesting one. Not just referrals with, like monetary value rewards, but with actual in-game value. Really appreciate that for you bringing that point out. Now, looking at the community and overall, or your target audience, what are you guys doing aside, referrals or jackpots to bring more users, more players on board? Are there any long-term incentive programs that you guys intend to have also, like staking, governance, tournaments, to keep community contributors or whales that could be, involved in your project engaged rather than
Exactly.
just, on a short-term speculation?
We do offer 2 different programs. We offer the travel agent program and the airline program. The travel agent program, you have to imagine, is sort of like an ambassador program, yeah, where people that have a certain community can become ambassadors, and they then form part of the family, let's say, and we work all together in pushing the game and onboarding new people. And then on the other hand, we have the airline partnership program. This is more for the whales, for bigger projects who want to actually have part of the game. We're offering airlines for those bigger partnerships, so they can have their own airline and at Block Air.
Nice. Good to see you guys have that actually thought out. So now, in terms of partnerships, what kind of partnerships do you guys have? Any companies or organizations or projects that you guys are partnered with, to foster collaboration?
This is the process we're actually in right now. We're currently speaking to a couple of projects, and we are open to partnerships. As I said, for the institutional partnerships, let's put it this way, before game launch, we're offering a total of 21 airlines. So that's 21 partnerships we're aiming for. We're open and happy to hear if somebody's interested.
Okay, so you guys are open to partnerships, right? Are there any criteria you guys will be looking at for the partnerships, or just that comes your way that looks decent?
I mean, it should be a project out of the crypto space, just because it's very specific. I mean, Web3 is specific. It can't be just any partner. It should be some partnership connected to the crypto space. There is the possibility that if it's a project that has their own token, that this token can be implemented in Block Air. But this depends on a few technical matters. So yeah, for the partnerships, it should be projects that will have a solid community and are tied to the crypto space.
Okay. So in terms of transparency, will you guys publish regular dashboards, like example for active players, flights completed, insurance pool balance, so that community members can always see what you guys have going on?
Exactly. Yeah, we have a dashboard where you can always check the game activity, which is transparent on the blockchain. You can see how many flights there's flying. You can see at any time at what airport, what flights are available. You can see how much money has been paid out. You can see how many players are actively playing and all that. And then for each player, the passport section of the DApp, there's all statistic he would be needing to monitor his own game playing, like how many tickets he bought, how many flights he's been landed, how many people he referred, how much money he made through referrals. So that's all in the passport section of each player.
Nice. So in terms of the game security, are there any part of the games where one will have to put their personal information, and then the game itself, how secured is the game? The project overall, is it, KYC audited? Just walk us through that.
In order to play the game, all you need is a Web3 wallet, something like MetaMask. You need to have some BNB to pay the gas fees, and some USDT to buy the first flight ticket. That's it. We don't do any KYC.
Okay, nice. So going back to the mouse, I want to ask, is the mouse earning integration into the flight experience based solely on participation, or can players optimize their earnings through strategic play?
The core functionality is you have to, on the one hand, you have to choose the right flight to jump on, And on the other hand, once you're on the flight, you have to work the community to convince people to come to your plane. This you can do through the ref codes, which we've been talked before. This you can do within the community, telling people, hey, check out my flight. There's only 2 seats left. Jump on my flight. So the earning factor of miles and USDT all depends on how strategically you choose your flight and on how hard you work to get your flight off the ground. The 2 key factors.
Okay. Thanks for answering that. So next, I want to know, are there plans to introduce skill-based challenges or missions, to add more gameplay depth beyond progression and referrals, like, players having mini games during the flights, like refueling, navigation, problem solving, and the rewards, being tied to skillful completion, adding more engagement.
Yeah, there will be definitely more things coming up. We have lots of things in the pipeline which are already developed, but which we will not launch from the very beginning because we don't want to make it too complex. But yes, there will be, as I said, airport duty-free stores. There will be mini games, as you mentioned. If you happen to be in Las Vegas, you can go to a casino. So there'll be more things added to the game gradually. Of course, we will be opening more airports. We'll be introducing more airlines. So all that is already being planned and partly developed. So yeah, no, it's not gonna be launched and just stay on version 1. No, there's lots of development already have been ongoing for the last 2 years just to foresee all those improvements of the game to make it more exciting for the players. But we don't want to overload the game from a very beginning. I want people to understand the main game mechanics of the game, and then we gradually will introduce more perks.
Nice. Keeping it simple also matters, like you said. Not overloading the players and everything just gets confusing and burdensome. So that's a nice one. So the next, I brought out something I just saw right now that I wanted to ask. Okay, so let's just go to marketing aspects of it. What kind of marketing have you guys done in the past, or what marketing do you guys have going on currently, or you intend to have, to create more exposure and, bring more people on board, more players?
Yeah. Well, crypto really moved into not only crypto, but in crypto especially, into a very community-driven space. So it's nowadays it's all about having community, and this is where we most put our effort into right now. So we have created this ambassador program for people who want to help building this community, and we reward those people, the ambassadors. People can check that out on the website. More than welcome to apply for being an ambassador. So this is one hand, we're really pushing the ambassador side and our social media. We're active in X, in Telegram, and Discord. And then on the other hand, as I mentioned before, we are smartly and wisely trying to choose good partnerships which already count on a big community, just to tap into that community and get awareness for Block Air out there.
Okay, thank you so much for answering that. The question I wanted to ask before was if you guys have your own marketplace where the buy and sell of NFT can happen.
Okay, the purchase of the NFT will be through our DApp. Of course, this doesn't prevent you that people will go on a marketplace and put their NFT for sale. But if people do that, then they haven't really understood the purpose of the NFT. As a passport will be mandatory to fly. So if you sell your passport, then you won't be able to fly anymore. The boarding pass NFTs are the tickets to the lottery, to the 1 million jackpots. You don't really want to sell those either. And airlines and airports are also NFTs, but they will produce you passive income. So it doesn't really make sense to sell them either. So there will be in the future a marketplace within the game, but at the very beginning, if people do want to trade their NFTs, they will have to do that in somewhere like OpenSea.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense because that is one of the core value of the game. So, the last question I have for you is about the funding of the game. Now, I have seen, in fact, I have come across so many gaming projects that what makes them fall behind and not be able to, sustain the project is finances, because gaming takes a lot of, funding, which is something that is very essential for even every project. Talking more now of a game project. So how are you guys able to work around the structure of finance to ensure that the game is here on the long term?
Exactly. Well, we have put the initial funding on development, but we've ensured that the game mechanics itself make the game to be viral. As I said before, it's all about community nowadays. You don't have to be working with marketing agencies or things like that. It's the community which drives nowadays the projects. So we have tried to implement enough steps or enough tools for people to make the blocker go viral. And once it's viral, and once we build a big community, I think this game will be a huge success. So the initial game launch is probably the most important step for us. If we manage to put a great initial start, then the game will go by itself.
Yeah, thank you so much for answering all the questions. So far for the past around 14 minutes, we've been able to go through what Block Air is all about. So I don't know if you have any other thing you'd like to add before we get some questions from the community.
Maybe just add one thing is, as I said, community is very important, and the initial start of the game is very important. So what we did is right now on our website, there's a whitelist available where people can sign up in the whitelist, and they will receive a passport airdrop once the game starts. So we're aiming on 21,000 whitelisters. And once we launch the game with 21,000 players to start with, this game will be a huge success. I'm sure it'll be then widely known. So I can encourage everybody to just sign up in the whitelist.
Yeah, guys, so you heard that. Ensure you go on there and sign up. So let's get some questions. We have Benova. Benova, you can ask a question, mate.
Yeah, thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yeah, fine. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Moonshine, for the opportunity. Thank you, Blocker. I've been listening to your presentation, and the presentation, seems to be more enlightening and educative. But one of my questions is, I saw on your white paper, which is in the second quarter, where you said that you'll be launching into
Benova, I think we lost you there.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
can
you hear me? Okay. I said I saw that on your white paper in the second quarter in 2019, in 26 that you'll be, having your jackpot. I wanted to know, is there a minimum threshold of, getting the jackpot tickets if eventually comes up? Is there a minimum threshold of getting the jackpot tickets? That's my first question.
Okay, the jackpot tickets are the boarding pass NFTs. So each time that you buy a flight ticket, you will receive one ticket. And as I said, that the trigger point of the lottery or of the giveaway will be the 1 millionth player taking off. If we start with 21,000 players, our calculations and our estimate is that in the beginning of 2026 we will reach that number of the 1 millionth player taking off, because players will be playing not just one round, but they will be playing several rounds. So the more you play, the more boarding passes you will be accumulating and collecting, the higher your chance, obviously, then for you to hit that jackpot.
Okay. And my second question is, as for the aspect of the game, is there a limit to, I don't know if it's a play to earn game, if there is any limit to earning while we are playing the game?
Well, one limitation is that you can only have one passport per account, so you can, or per wallet address, so you can only use one wallet address with one passport. This is one limitation. This is for us the way to track you as a player. And then it depends on the flight type you choose. If you choose a domestic flight, your earnings will always be 440%, but it's always calculated on the flight ticket, which is just 10 USDT. But if you take the long haul flight, which is 150 USDT, your earnings obviously will be higher.
Okay. I get to understand it now. Thank you for answering my question, Blocker, and thank you, Moonshine, for the opportunity.
Yeah, thanks for asking.
Yeah, thank you so much, Benova, for your question. So a question came in here from the comments. New Rider, he asked, what are the geographic or regulatory considerations for users outside certain region? Example, Africa, Asia.
Okay, as I said before, we don't do any KYC. So depending on where you're at, if you are able to have a MetaMask or Trust wallet or any Web3 wallet, and if you're able to have a few BNB in there, like 0.001 is enough to pay the gas fees. And if you have 11 or 12 USDT to start with, that's all you need to play the game. So we don't exclude any country or anything like that. If your local regulations don't let you have a Web3 wallet, then obviously you can't play. But if you have a Web3 wallet, a few BNB for gas fees, and the USDT to play with, that's all you need.
Okay, nice. I saw a question here before, but I can't seem to find it. So let's take a question from the voice. So let's have Michael. Michael, you can ask a question. No, are you there? You can ask a question. So, okay, let's have someone else. I think network is messing around, or is it Telegram? I don't know. So you can go ahead with your question, mate. Am I not muting you guys? I'm sure I'm not muting you guys. I don't know what's happening.
Audible. Hello.
Okay. Now
Hey,
you can
Moshan.
go ahead with your question.
Okay. It's a good project. Very good. Even reading from your website, everything that you guys put in stock, especially the high return of investment and all those things. But my question is this: when it comes to flight game, because I've played some, I always play them, but sometimes it gets boring because once you pick up passenger, you drop the persons, you go again, you pick up and the person just highlight. It's also like just the same thing with boss game or all those things. But how do you guys plan to enhance users experience, making it more fun? Are there other things you're going to add to it, make it more fun than just picking up a passenger, upgrade to pilot level, passenger level, get the NFT? Are there other experiences that you plan to add to the game?
Okay, if you're playing right now in the demo version on the testnet, that's super. We're really happy for that you do that. We have around 300 people right now playing the test version. But of course, it's just 300. So the gaming experience now is a little slow, and you might be stuck sometimes on a plane for a day or two, and you feel like the game that doesn't really move ahead. In real time, once we launch on the mainnet with 21,000 players, it's definitely going to be the other way around. So there's going to be more demand. It's going to be harder to get a free flight at the beginning and to hop on. So this is one point. Yeah, I think right now you can't really compare the test demo to the game once it's live. And on the other hand, this is what we were talking about before. We do have, for example, some mini games when you're on the flight. We do have some special airports. For example, the airport of Las Vegas will have a casino, and then there will be also a flight chat. You can be talking to your fellow people on the plane. So it's going to be more interactive, and you're more be able to talk to the people on the plane, which I think will also add more fun to the game.
That would be nice, especially the part of the casino. So if I have to, do people also win if they get to Vegas Airport and also play from the casino? Those are nice features too. Will I also earn if I have to play those mini games too? Would there be an incentive attached to them?
The mini games will probably be running in a miles token, and the casino will be just like an incentive for you to get to Las Vegas, and there'll be for other cities. We have also some ideas. So once you're at a different destination, for you just to have always something new, as you mentioned, to make it a little bit more fun. It won't be on the game release, because otherwise we'd be just developing forever and never release the game. But lots of things like the in-flight chat, like 2 or 3 mini games have already been developed, and that'll be then available on the mainnet.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you, Muchai.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Next, thank you so much for asking a question. So, guys, I think these are all the questions we'll be able to take for these AMA, and really appreciate you guys for coming out, asking a lot of questions. If you still have questions, you can go to their community and ask whatever questions you have, and I'm sure Frank or any other of the teammates would be happy to get to your questions. So with that, Frank, do you still have any final words to say? The floor is yours.
This is just what I kind of said before. If you want to be part of this very exciting movement, feel free to, well, first of all, join our social media for the updates. Feel free to check out our ambassador program if you have a good community and if you want to get your community involved, and sign up in the whitelist. So you're going to be there from the very beginning. You know, it's in crypto, apart from community, timing is very important, and being there before everybody else is there. So I can just encourage you being like early, be in early, and sign up in the whitelist, be an ambassador. This is just what I can advise you two guys to do, because I think this is going to be big.
Yeah, thank you so much once again for bringing a project like Block Air here on GoldDiggers. I'm sure the community really enjoyed this conversation. I also appreciate you for going in details what you guys have going on, and hopefully the project keeps expanding, and in the future we have you guys here again in GoldDiggers. So thank you so much, and everyone, you guys have a nice day. See you guys in tomorrow's AMA.
Bye bye. Thank you, everybody.